The year is 480 BC. The ancient world trembles beneath the hooves and sails of a superpower, the Persian Empire. With hundreds of thousands of troops and a vast navy, King Xerxes marches west, determined to crush Greece once and for all. But then, amidst the churning waves in the narrow strait between Salamis and the mainland, a decisive naval battle unfolds, one that will determine the fate of Greece and shape the course of Western civilization. 10 years after the humiliating defeat at Marathon, the Persian Empire returns stronger, larger, and more determined. Xerxes III, son of Darius the Great, assembles an immense force. Herodotus estimates over 1 million men, and crosses into Europe via the legendary floating bridges at the Hellespont. The invasion begins well. The Greek forces are crushed at Thermopylae. Athens is abandoned and occupied. Temples are torched, and its people flee to the sea, seeking refuge on nearby islands. But Greece does not surrender. Instead, it prepares for one final stand, not on land, but at sea. The man behind the resistance was not a noble or a king, but a shrewd politician from Athens, Themistocles. He knew the key to defeating Persia lay not in walls or spears, but in the sea. While Greek city-states argued over whether to retreat further south, Themistocles crafted a bold deception. He sent a false messenger to Xerxes pretending to be a traitor and claimed that the Greek fleet was in disarray, attempting to flee Salamis. Xerxes took the bait. He ordered his massive fleet, drawn from Phoenicia, Egypt and beyond, into the narrow waters of the Salamis Strait, hoping to finish the war in one swift blow. At dawn, the waters of Salamis were eerily calm. Over 600 Persian ships advanced into the strait, confident of victory, but they had entered a trap. The Greeks, with around 300 triremes, waited silently. Smaller and more maneuverable, their ships were designed for these tight spaces. When the time came, they surged forward like wolves from the shadows. The Persians quickly found themselves crammed together, unable to maneuver. Their numerical advantage turned into a curse. Greek ships rammed through their lines, using bronze-clad prows to pierce hulls and sink vessels one by one. Spears and axes flew as hand-to-hand combat erupted on deck. Even Artemisia, the famed female commander of Caria, fighting for the Persians, had to ram one of her own allied ships to escape the chaos. Xerxes watched it all from a golden throne set up on the shore, helpless as his mighty fleet was torn apart before his eyes. By sunset, the Persian fleet lay in ruins. Hundreds of ships had been destroyed. Thousands of sailors were dead or captured. The Greek losses were minimal by comparison. Xerxes, fearing a blockade and supply crisis, withdrew most of his army back to Asia. He left behind a force under General Mardonius, but that too would be defeated the following year at Plataea. The victory at Salamis didn't just save Athens, it saved Greece itself. It halted the Persian tide and preserved a civilization that would go on to shape the future of philosophy, art, science, and democracy. Some battles change borders. Others change the destiny of humanity. Salamis was such a battle, a clash where courage, cunning, and unity triumphed over overwhelming might. In the narrow straits of the Aegean, the Persian Empire met its match. and the course of history was forever altered. History is full of turning points, like Salamis, where the fate of nations hung by a thread. If you enjoyed this journey through one of the most epic naval battles of the ancient world, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.